Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is 4 Paws on a Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. Today it is time to see if I was right about my 5-star predictions. So at the beginning of September, I posted a video where I predicted that these 5 books would be 5 stars. Now it's time to test that theory, because if there's anything that I know about myself, it is that I in fact do not know my reading taste. I overanalyze, I over-criticize, and I tend to judge books too harshly. So giving a book 5 stars is such a high accomplishment that I don't do it very often. In fact, I think I only have about 10 books in the whole year that I've given 5 stars to, so they're few and far between. So the question is, do I know myself well enough that these will be 5 stars? If you didn't watch the 5-star predictions video, I'll go ahead and link it up above, but we will go quickly through these and then we will get into the vlog portion of the video, and then I will meet you back here at the end. The first one is Dark Corners by Megan Golden. This is the sequel to The Night Swim, and it is a dark thriller with a podcast element, something that I really love in books. Next up we have Teach Me by Olivia Dade. I have given everything that I have read from Olivia Dade 5 stars, so I hope that this is the same. This is one of her indie books. I've only read her traditionally published works, so we'll see what happens. Then we have Sinner by Sierra Simone. I gave Priest 5 stars and absolutely loved it. You can watch my 72 Hours in the Smut Den vlog where I went absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs about that book, so we'll see if this one also lives up to that hype. Then we have Hunted by Darcy Coates. This is a thriller horror. I love Darcy Coates. I've given a lot of her books 5 stars. I love her character work, and her books are usually hits for me. And lastly, we have A Shade of Madness by Tiago Abdallah. This is also a sequel. I've been doing a lot of sequels. Is that cheating? I don't know. But this is the second book following A Touch of Light, which I read earlier this year. I will link my SPFBO vlog about that. I also went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs about this one. Absolutely loved this book. And so I'm hoping that the writing style will continue. That was definitely the strength of Touch of Light, and I'm hoping that I will love this one just as much. With that said, let's get on to the vlog portion of this video. Hello, so I'm reading my first book for this vlog, and I am 28% of the way through Dark Corners by Megan Golden. This is the sequel to The Night Swim, and I must say, I think I'm gonna start out on a good note. Obviously, I'm 28% of the way in, so things could take a turn. Like, hold on, let me just figure out exactly how many pages this is. I'm listening to it on audio because it does have a podcast element to it, and it's fantastic. Okay, so I'm 93 pages in. So obviously, like, I still have quite a ways to go, but I am just sitting here. I'm on sprints right now for Battleathon, and I am just sitting here crocheting and like completely engrossed in this book. It has been a very, very long time since I've just sat with a book and I'm like, oh, I have 4 minutes left of the sprint. I'm like, oh no, I want to get through this chatty bit and like get back to reading. So that's telling me that this is a good book. So we are 5-star material so far. So this immediately follows the events of The Night Swim, like literally the next day. She flies down to Florida because she is going to be talking to an inmate that might have information about a woman's disappearance. She is a like van influencer, you know, those girls who like have a camper van and they go off hiking and they do TikToks. That is, which I follow a lot of those on TikTok. So like, this is interesting. Anyway, she's following, they're trying to find her, and it's a lot of conversations like with this inmate, and then the FBI agent, and then like another podcast element of a different story. There's 2 stories going on, but I don't know how they interact. The Night Swim, I feel like, was very clear direction. Like, this is this story, this is this story. I don't know what's going on here. Like, I'm 100 pages in and I actually don't know what's going on, but I'm here for this. It's very well scripted. Like, it feels like a true crime podcast. It feels like a documentary. I'm obsessed right now. This is 5-star material. So anyway, I'm glad that we're off to a good start. I do have 2 minutes left of the sprint, so I do need to wrap up and get back to the chatty bit, but I am very excited to continue reading this. So here we go. I just thought I would check in since I'm about 100 pages, and I'm literally just like sitting here in my reading chair, just like crocheting, because I'm a little bit behind on my genre blanket, because you know, August was a month. And I'm just listening. I'm just sitting here listening to this, and I'm having a grand old time. So that's where we're at. So anyway, I will check back with you when I'm a little bit farther in, but I have no doubt I will be finishing this book today. Hello, I finished Dark Corners by Megan Golden, and it was so close to a 5-star. So close. So close. I gave it 4.5 stars. So like still phenomenal. I do think it's better than The Night Swim. It's much darker, like it goes there, and I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Like I read this so quickly. I did not want to put it down. It kind of felt like a Law and Order episode or Criminal Minds. My only problem with it is that not every book needs a romance. Rachel does not need a romance. I don't think it needed to be introduced. It felt, well, and let me back up a little bit, because she could have had a romance if it was done well, if it was done properly. But the problem is that it just felt so like rushed. It felt like Megan like read Finley Donovan and was like, well, the romance works in this one, why don't I make my own romance? And it felt like the editor was pushing for it, or the publisher was pushing for a romance. And it kind of like made it cozy a little bit. And like the vibe just did not fit it, because we're like having this very dark, twisty thriller, and then there's a romance. And I'm just like, the vibes don't fit. So it's 4.5 stars. It's very, very good. I had a great time reading it, and I think it was a great start to this 5-star prediction vlog. So with that said, let's move on to the next book. Hello. We are on to book 2 of this, and it's the middle of rom-com-a-thon, so you've probably already seen me talk about this one a little bit, but I'm reading Teach Me, and this is so cute. This is adorable. I'm about 20% of the way through, and I actually did not realize that these are older characters. She's 42 and he's in his 40s as well. They've both been divorced, which I think is a like representation in romance that you don't see as much, but we are seeing a little bit more. She is plus size, as Olivia Day does, and like does so well. And it's really good so far. It's kind of this reverse Grumpy Sunshine, and I don't necessarily love the way that is used. Like, I don't like the way that term is used when you say reverse Grumpy Sunshine, because then that just automatically assumes that the woman is always sunshine, and to say it's reverse means that the woman is the grumpy one. I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. But she is the grumpy one. He is the absolute golden retriever of a man. He is so cute. This is adorable. So basically this book starts out, chapter 1, she gets told she is not going to have her honors world history class anymore, that this new teacher is coming in and he's going to get that class. And that was her favorite class. That was the class that people really she's able to like kind of turn students around, because like they still have a couple of years before they go off to college, and that was the year that she kind of turned her life around, was in 10th grade, and so she wanted just to be able to like do that for the next generation. So she's really upset about it, and then he's apologizing. He apologizes, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened. And obviously they can't do anything about it, because it's like done by like the school system, and it's nothing that like they can't like switch back or anything like that. So it's like you can't be mad at him. But anyway, he has a daughter who is a high school student at this high school, and she's gonna be a senior. So like I really love the older representation of this. So anyways, very excited, and I'm gonna keep reading this, and I'll probably finish it today, so you're gonna probably see me in this shirt the entire time we're talking about this. I've been filming quite a bit today, and I needed to touch base with you guys. I also decorated, if you saw that, but I want to touch base with you before I like turn all my lights off, and then also my mouth is hurting, so I'm gonna stop talking after this. but I am like 70% of the way through this. I've been listening to it as I've been setting up lights, and I put a book cart together, all those fun things. And so I've been listening to this. This is so cute. I think, is it maybe 5 stars? I don't know, like it's not as good as Spoiler Alert, and I think the only reason why is it's just a little bit rushed, but I still think it might be 5 stars. I think it might be. I think we're good so far. I mean, obviously we still have a third act conflict to go to, but I'm still loving this. It's so cute. He hurt his back, and his daughter was like, hey, can you go look in on him? I have to go to this class thing, and I just need you to go look at it, like go check in on him. He's on really heavy pain meds, and I'm worried about him. And so she does, and like she's this like grumpy, like she is a prickly woman, which we like love and adore. And she just kind of like softens, and you can see it happen, like as he's talking to her and she's opening up to him, and you can just kind of see the walls fall a little bit. You can see the layers of the onion peeling back. We love a cinnamon roll character, and I think I was trying to force myself out of the cinnamon roll hero. I've been reading some darker romances. I've been reading, you know, more like hardened characters, and so coming back to this, I felt like, well, maybe this isn't what I like anymore, but it is. Like at its heart, it is. This is just an adorable, adorable romance. And I don't know, I think that I need to like maybe change my way of thinking. Does that make sense? Because I'm like trying to find a reason to not give this 5 stars, or trying to find a reason not to love it. But at this point I really can't. I also really love the idea that this book is focusing on some of the like hardships of being a teacher when you really want to help out students, but budgets are getting cut and you're working endless hours, and like Martin, the new teacher, is like having to float. He doesn't have his own classroom because their building is too small, and so he's teaching out of her classroom, and she's having to like plan her, like it's her planning period, and she has to do that while he's trying to teach, and like school admin just kind of sucks, and it's not a good situation, and they don't make enough money, and they work in a school district that is a little bit lower income, and so there's a lot of people that like are on food stamps or aren't eating breakfast. And she makes them all little tote bags for the day of their AP test. And she's like, I can't afford to feed them every day, but I want to make sure that they're eating on the day of their test. You know, she grew up on food stamps. There's a conversation about like how people will look down on people that have food stamps, and like, you shouldn't be able to buy, you know, fancy things. You have to buy just the bare minimums. And like, we already feel like shit because we're on food stamps. We don't need the judgment. And I just thought that conversation was so accurate, and just so well thought out. So yeah, anyways, and that's 70-ish%. I don't know, Scribd is really weird about their like percentages, but I'm having a really good time with this. And I'm glad to see that her indie books are just as good. I will say I don't think it's quite as steamy as the Spoiler Alert series, but I think it's just because it was a little bit more of a slow burn. I mean, there was one scene where, because like they've both been divorced, and they like, you know, he had only been with his ex-wife prior, and so there was like this conversation about like them like trying to do dirty talk, and he's like, I don't know how to do that because I had very vanilla sex in my previous marriage. I'm having a good time here, so doing good. Hi, I forgot to talk to you about Teach Me when I finished it, but I finished it and it was 5 stars. It was so good. It was like typical Olivia Dade in its representation, just in everything. It was so good. I will say the third act conflict was not necessarily my favorite, and it did seem a little bit confusing, a little bit jumbled, but I don't care because it's still like, the rest of it still made up for it, so I'm still calling it a 5 star. Because like, honestly, what third act conflict do you like in a romance? Not many, and I still give them 5 stars. The representation in this is fantastic. Both the plus size representation, the representation of teachers in schools and how they are underpaid, overworked, understaffed, and like have to make ends meet just because like they want to make sure that their students are taken care of. And you can tell that both of these teachers are they're amazing teachers and they really, really love their students and they really want to see them succeed. And the way that she talks about the students and like why she loved the class that was taken away from her, she wanted to give back and do that. So yeah, that's 5 stars. Also, I got a package. It's not a book, but it's spooky and I wanted to show you. And yeah, I've been seeing all of the like cute little like cups and stuff. And I wanted a spooky one. You know what I'm talking about. Why are they so hard to get out? Like, look at this. Why? I'm afraid it's gonna crack. Is there like an easier... No? Okay. Look how cute it is! Anyways, yeah. And then it's got a little wood lid. If I can get that out. Maybe I'll just rip the styrofoam. Little lid. And then a metal straw and a cleaner. Oh, look how cute. Now I can have my little ghosty iced coffee in the mornings. It's so cute. Alright, I'm gonna go. But I just wanted to talk to you about it. Alright, see you later. Hello. We're on to our 3rd book. We're reading Sinner by Sierra Simone. This is a book. I'm about 50% of the way through it, and unfortunately I kind of hate it, like a lot. It's definitely falling into the Sierra Simone 2nd book curse that always tends to happen. Okay. Let's chat, okay? I can see why people like it. It's a very, very steamy book. It's very smutty, but it's kind of given me the ick in a couple of ways. At the beginning of it, like I definitely wasn't liking it as much as I liked Priest, because I liked Priest like from the get-go. That was so good. This book, I didn't really care about the characters to begin with. It was just like fine. And then we started like, once we started the actual relationship, the whole thing is that this girl is going to become a nun, but the Mother Superior is saying that she needs to like become more worldly to see what she's giving up because she's been so sheltered as a kid. She goes to her brother's best friend who she had a crush on when she was a kid. There's about a 10-year age gap. And she's like, well, I want to have sex with you because I trust you. Like, you know, I'll be safe, that kind of thing. We're hearing it all from his POV. And I think that might be the problem here, which I loved only having his POV in Priest. But in this one, it's just not working for me because he feels like he's fetishizing her. You know, she's like technically a virgin and like, she's like, well, you know, the word virgin is like, you know, so, you know, this like word that's been put onto women in like, you know, it's society and it's heteronormative and it's like, why is this sex and this isn't sex? And like, it's a whole thing, right? But then because we're only hearing it from his POV, we're hearing it over and over and over that she's inexperienced, that she's a virgin, that she's young, that she's, you know, it's just giving me the ick and I really, I hate it. I hate it. I'm in this scene right now, or just finished the scene where like they're at a skating rink for their date and he's like, well, a boy wouldn't do this, but a man, like I'm a man, a boy would do this, but I'm a man. And I'm like, this is gross. I hate it here. So this is not a 5-star. You know, we had 2 really good ones. We had 2 really good ones. So it was only a matter of time before we had a dud. And this is the dud. This is definitely a dud. Hello. I finished Sinner a couple of days ago and I had to sit on my thoughts for a bit. Because this might be one of my biggest disappointments of the year. Which is a lot. I had high hopes for this. And once again, Sierra Simone let me down with the second book, and that is just utterly disappointing. And I should have seen it coming. Should have seen it coming. But I gave this book 2 stars. Like, it was probably between a 2 and a 2.5, but we settled on 2. The ending was a little bit better, but only in the fact that, like, they introduced the new characters, and so because of that, there was we had a little bit of A, queer rep, and B, like, just kind of an introduction to what Saint, is that the right one? Yeah, Saint is going to be, which I am hopeful for. We are still going to continue on with the series. I think this is just a book you can probably skip. Obviously, I haven't read Saint, so I don't know if it's going to connect at all, but like this one was not it. And I don't think that I have any new information to tell you. I don't have any new opinions from what I had already said, but like it never got any better as far as the conversations about her being a virgin, her being young, this like playing up this forbidden taboo romance, but not in a way that like was sexy or steamy or at all, I don't know, consensual. I mean, it wasn't consensual, because obviously like she was trying to like take control and stuff like that, and that was the whole point of this, but like your brain hasn't developed at this point. She doesn't know what she's doing, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and the fact that a much older man is taking advantage of her just felt weird and just not sexy. I don't know. Like, age gap romances can work, and I've seen them work really well. And I don't know if it was because we were also adding in this like religious trauma and trying to like make religion sexy. I don't know. It worked so well in Priest, and then this did not work. Like, did not work at all. It was not it. Unfortunately, this is like the first miss on my vlog, as far as like my 5-star predictions. Obviously Dark Corners was 4.5 stars, but I'm counting like it's close enough to a 5, and then Teach Me was 5, so this is the first bummer. But anyway, let's move on to the next book. We're on to book number 4. I meant to check in with you much earlier than this, but honestly, I don't have a lot to say. So we are reading Hunted by Darcy Coates, and so far this book is fine. It's definitely not freaking me out. It's definitely not scaring me. I'm kind of bored at this point. One of the things that Darcy does so well, and one of the things that makes her books as engaging and as popular as they are, is her character work, right? Like, you can tell from the very beginning that like you're gonna care about the characters, and I don't feel like we're doing that in this one. So this is about a woman who disappears, and then a bunch of her friends are like basically backpacking through the forest trying to find her. It starts off kind of like a police procedural, which is not my favorite in a thriller, although like they sometimes work, and I think weirdly enough, these two books are really similar, and they're doing it very, very differently, right? So this is about a woman who disappears. This is about a woman who disappears. There is like police, FBI type characters involved with it, and I think that so far this one has done it better in the sense that like you really understood the character that was missing, and you actually like empathized with her, and like really you were rooting for her, right? I don't give a shit about this main character that is missing and presumed dead. I do not give a shit. And I also don't really give a crap about her friends. Like, one of the guys is just so whiny, and he's like whining about, oh, he should have packed better. Oh, that like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why did she go off into this, onto this trail that she obviously was not like equipped? That's the word. Why did she go off onto this trail that she clearly was not equipped to take? She's not an experienced hiker, so why was she doing this? So at this point, 30% in, 35% in, I'm at on page 156 of this. It's fine. Like, this book is 3 stars right now. So anyways, that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna try to finish this tonight. It's a really like spooky, moody, rainy type of night, or evening. It has been all day. It's been like rainy and cold, so I am thinking that I will just kind of knock it out and listen to as much as I can. I have a lot of books that I'm trying to read in October, and so technically, according to my calendar, I need to read this today. I need to finish this today, because I still have one more book to go, and this video is supposed to come out next week. So far it's not a win, but who knows, like 35% in, I still could, we could turn it around. We could. All right. Well, anyways, I will talk to you when I'm a little farther in. So I did not get to finish my book last night, so I'm doing it now. I walked outside. I'm trying to listen to it while I'm at work. I walked outside fully ready to tell you that this book is overwritten, which it is. It's getting creepy, but it's still kind of redundant. And then a twist just happened, and now I'm like, oh shit, and I need to finish this book now. So anyways, that's just, you know, proof that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover or by the first 75% of the book. Also, apparently they're deciding to mow right now. Who does that? So now I'm enjoying it. I don't know, it's not a 5-star for sure, because like literally over half the book I was just like, I don't care, this is fine, can we get over it? I'm ready to move on to my next book. Now I want to finish this book, so I'm gonna go do that, and I will touch base with you with my final star rating probably on my lunch break, because I gotta work. It's a busy day today. Okay. I look like a hot mess, but it's 9:30 at night, so it's time for me to go to bed. So I'm already taking my makeup off, but let's chat, because I've started my final book for this project, and that is A Shade of Madness by Tiago Abdallah. This is the second book in the Touch of Light series, and I don't know what percentage, but like on page 270. Unfortunately, Audible doesn't tell you percentages, but I'm very much enjoying this. This ramped up even more so from the end of A Touch of Light, which that book is breakneck speed, and this one is it's so good. It's everything that I want in a political fantasy. There's not a lot I can actually like tell you about the synopsis of it, because obviously it is a sequel, and there's so much that happened in A Touch of Light that I'd be spoiling so much. But just know that like it's kind of got the same feel to it as A Touch of Light. So if you liked that book, you'll like this one. This is not a beginner's fantasy for sure. Tiago does not hold your hand when you're reading this book. He does not explain a lot of things. You're kind of finding things out along with the character. And while I think you know a little bit more in this one, there's still a lot that I'm confused about. But we are dealing with this like plague or virus, and one of the characters has a loved one that is dealing with it. She has kind of come under, and so he is like keeping her basically in a coma through magic, and that's really interesting. We're getting more of the griffins, which is obviously what's on the cover here, which like you saw a little glimpse of it in A Touch of Light, and you're obviously getting more with they're basically being used in battle. It's so well plotted, it's so well designed, this whole world. I imagine that being in Tiago's mind is probably a really interesting place to be, because this world that he has created is just so expansive. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying this one, and who knows, I might actually end this video on a 5-star. So I'm hoping I'll be able to finish it tomorrow. Like I said, it's like right at halfway maybe. So I'm hoping I'll be able to finish this one tomorrow, and I will come back to you probably when I finish it. All right, I'm back. I'm here to talk to you about A Shade of Madness and then wrap everything up. This book was phenomenal. I think if you liked A Touch of Light, you will also like this. I feel like the strengths are very similar. The writing style is obviously similar. It's the same author. Yes, he is gonna throw you into the deep end. There are new characters. There are new problems to deal with. There is this virus that has broken out, and it is just phenomenal. This is dark in the way that like the characters are dealing with a lot of things. I wouldn't call it a grim dark fantasy. And it's really hard to talk about this book without spoiling A Touch of Light and or this book. So I'm not going to do that, but just know if you liked A Touch of Light, you will also like this book. This book does not suffer from middle book syndrome. The third book I believe is coming out early next year, if I remember correctly. And like, I do in fact need a sequel now. I need it now. So, Tiago, if you want to hit me up, like, I would love an arc. Cause this was 5 stars. So, we ended with a winner at least. So let's wrap everything up. We did have a couple of wins. I'm calling Dark Corners a win, even though it was 4.5 stars instead of 5 stars. I did round it up on Goodreads, so close enough to a 5 star. This I think was better than the Night Swim. Shade of Madness, like I said, 5 stars. It was a win. I don't know if it's better than A Touch of Light, although maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I think they're on the same level. And then Teach Me was a 5 star. This was fantastic, and I will definitely read more of Olivia's indie work or self-pub work after reading this one. There are 2 more standalones in this series, and so I'm gonna definitely pick those up. Then we kind of drop a little bit. Hunted was a 3.5 for me. This isn't the lowest I've rated a Darcy Coates, but it is kind of down there. So that's a bummer. And I do also think that this is more of a thriller than a horror. I was expecting it to do something and it never really did, and I think maybe that's why it kind of let me down. And I don't know, this one lacked the character strength that she's usually known for. So that's why this one was rated lower. I think it had the potential, but this is one of her older books. I didn't realize it, but this is actually published in 2017. So her craft has definitely improved since then. And then the biggest disappointment of the entire video, of possibly the entire year, was Sinner. I'm not going to go into this anymore because you've heard me rant about it at this point in Rom-Comathon vlog, in September wrap up, and now in this video. So I'm not going to, but this was 2 stars and this was not good. So anyways, that was my 5-star prediction vlog. I'd like to do another one of these. So I kind of want to do a theme to it though. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, let me know down below. If you're not feeling chatty, put a star emoji. That feels right for this video. That's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.